Hey, welcome in and welcome back. It is WYOU WBRE 2822 Sports Night here on the CTV app. I'm joined once again by our 2822 Sports Night executive producer, Ricky Turner. And we're also joined today by Nate Johns,
Yes.
Penn State, not alum yet, right?
No, not yet.
What year we are?
Going into year three.
Going into year three, a junior from Penn State who's helping out over the summertime here at 2822 as our intern and doing a great job so far, getting a lot of the things that you see up on your screen, the cutaways, the visuals, some of the sound bites. Nate doing a great job holding it down on Premiere, holding it down with some of our articles as well. And of course, as always, I'm Zach Grady, the 2822 Sports Night and Sports Director here at WBRE WYOU. We thank you for joining us, as we thank you for all that you're doing here in the local communities. Lackawanna County giving out yesterday, Schuylkill County giving out today, some partnerships with the United Way, and of course, what do I say, Ricky? The football calendar never stops.
No, media days are just 6 weeks away. Lackawanna County Media Days coming up.
Today is the unofficial start of high school football in Schuylkill County, is what they say.
Yes, the United Way Schuylkill County 9th Annual Football Challenge for a good cause. All these Schuylkill County teams down there will be participating in some non-traditional, more football-like all-star games that we've been talking about. As you can see here, this is from a couple of years ago, back in 2024. They have some pretty fun competitions that you'll get to witness.
Yeah.
I guess you'll get your first taste of some NEPA football talking to some of the teams.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, today is Combine Day, more or less. Got 14 teams participating in the Schuylkill County United Way Skills Challenge. The defending champions last year, 2025, North Schuylkill Spartans. So, yeah, I'm excited. It's going to be a good time. Make sure you're tuning in at 11 as we have the highlights from all of that. Plus, we'll get a chance to talk to some of the folks from the United Way who help. It's more than $200,000 has been raised over the 10 years because of this event, which goes back to the student initiative in Schuylkill County, allowing for young high school seniors and juniors to go ahead and get a scholarship and head to the college of their choice. Who knows? Maybe they head to Penn State, huh?
Who knows?
Maybe.
Man of few words.
I know this past season we had a Minnesota product, or Schuylkill product, going to University of Minnesota, one of the talented running backs from down there as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great way as well, not only to partner with the community to raise the money, but also to kind of get a little bit of a gauge of where you are compared to the other teams. 14 teams here tonight. So, I mean, certainly when it comes to skill, speed, some strength, agility, you can kind of get a little bit of an idea of who's going to be on top this year, huh?
Yeah, definitely, especially down in District 11, where it's a little bit different than it is up in District 2, where you see a lot of the power-based wing tee offenses. Down there, they like to throw the ball around. Williams Valley, in particular, Schuylkill Haven, known for their offenses. Minersville, of course, you talk about quarterbacks going to the next level. Dante Carr from Minersville going to UCF. So it's going to be interesting to see those skill position groups because we, again, know how high-flying those offenses can be. So should set the tone for what should be a fun season to come.
So who are you looking forward to seeing? Who are your thoughts on who's going to get out there today and kind of make a good performance?
I mean, you got to start with the defending champs, North Schuylkill. They have a really good offensive line, conditioning, strength program down there. And then, of course, you're looking at Blue Mountain. They won 2 years ago. A lot of those skill guys will be fun to watch as well. So those are two teams for me to keep an eye on. You got to go with the reigning champs and champs from the year before as well.
Ricky, what events? So they got 7 events down there. I know you got a chance to be a part of it. What events are your favorite to get down there to watch and to be a part of?
I like the trenches. I like the tire flipping. I think the tire flipping is again those big guys up front. Whether you're running ball or throwing the ball, you got to have a good offensive line. So those tire flipping, endurance is also a big part of that as well. So I'm a big fan. I can't wait to see the tire flipping and what footage you bring back from that.
What are your thoughts? Who do you think is going to perform tonight?
Schuylkill Haven and North Schuylkill have had a running rivalry. Schuylkill Haven wins the regular season. North Schuylkill wins the postseason. That's how it's went the past 2 years. Mike Farr is one heck of a coach. We've had a lot of fun with him in the past, and I'm interested to see a really talented Schuylkill Haven team. I know they've lost a decent bit of seniors, but they're one of the few teams that will pound the football, and I want to see how they stack up and some of the standouts from today's event from there in Schuylkill Haven.
All right. Well, yeah, that's going on. I mean, so we're giving a little behind the scenes here, and I guess lifting up the fourth wall as you guys are all speaking of this as it's about to happen. Well, by the time you guys will all watch this tonight, it will have happened.
Yes.
We're recording a little bit early today so we can get a chance to get out to the Schuylkill United Way Challenge. That is at 5 o'clock. So we'll have those highlights for you at 11 o'clock here as CTV is airing our Sports Night programming at 8 p.m. So we will have those highlights for you on WBRE and WYOU 2822 Sports Tonight at 11 o'clock. So make sure you are tuning in. But yeah, no, absolutely. I'm excited to get out there. I'm excited to get my first taste of what high school football is like, what the atmosphere is like, how the community gets out there. Because, yeah, I mean, listen, there's a lot to do on the gridiron, but that's not the only thing that's going on out there. I mean, it's family friendly. You got some food trucks. You're going to have giveaways. You got contests and prizes and games for the kids as well. So there's a lot more than just what's going on the gridiron going on today out in Schuylkill County.
Yeah, it's really a good experience for somebody who may not have seen this type of football yet to get out there and see what it brings out in this community, because it's a very football passionate area, and it's a really good gauge for the fall as to where these teams are going to fall and how these fans are feeling about their teams as the time comes near.
As someone who's gotten a chance to experience it both now as a member of the media and then necessarily next as a student as well. Sorry, I just lost my train of thought as you guys can all see my lunch here on television. Yes, Uncrustables. They are delicious. Those are, I eat about 4 or 5 of those a day. That's how I keep going. As what? Ricky, what we do? 3 days, 4 days straight of NASCAR, 12, 13, 14-hour days.
Yes.
And then came right back to it. I was on the golf course yesterday at 10 a.m., which we're going to talk about in just a few moments. So, yeah, let me think. My last day off was last Sunday. My next day off is I have no idea when. We got high school football coming up in 6 weeks, I would say, maybe.
Yeah.
August 3rd, what did we say is when acclimation starts?
Yes, August.
That Monday.
3rd.
Is that the second or the third? One of the two.
I believe it's the 3rd.
It's the 3rd.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, and then the
Yeah, the third's that
28th of
Monday.
August is high school football first game of the year. So, I mean, but hey, make sure you guys are tuned in as starting on the 3rd there. We'll be out. We'll be at different high schools all throughout the month of August, leading up to kickoff on the 28th, leading up to our high school football show, which will start on the 28th. And then the following week, we got our college football coverage, our post-game show coming up, name to be determined. We're going to figure that out. I don't know how I feel about last year's
Name?
Yeah. We're going to leave it unnamed. It's like Voldemort. We're not going to speak its name because I think we're going to try and give that a little bit of a change if possible. Hopefully the bosses are listening in. Well, we hope the bosses are listening in. And we hope you are listening in as I am joined by Nate Johns. I am joined by Ricky Turner. This is WBRE WYOU 2822 Sports Night. We're going to get a quick break in here, and we will be right back as we're going to continue talking about the partnership with the United Way here in the NEPA, both in Lackawanna and Schuylkill County. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after the break. The 570 are having a great time partnering with their communities and partnering with the United Way over the last couple of days. As mentioned today, the 9th annual Schuylkill High School Football Challenge that happening in Schuylkill County with 14 different teams from the area being represented. But the United Way not just doing good things and partnering with the gridiron in Schuylkill County, but also in Lackawanna County. As yesterday, there was an NFL Hall of Famer and a Philadelphia Eagles Super Bowl champion, both teeing off here as part of the 30th annual Mike Munchak Golf Classic. That raising money for the student initiative here in Lackawanna County, and gave out a $6,300 scholarship yesterday to a Honesdale senior as they are getting ready to go to Kingston College up in Ontario, going north of the border. Yeah, Mike saying hello there. He had a great time. Mike getting some putts in. Vic Fangio as well, the Dunmore native. Mike Munchak, the Scranton native. Munchak, the 2-year head coach of the Tennessee Titans, as well served as an offensive line coach for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Top 5 draft pick in his time, an NFL Hall of Famer. Vic Fangio, obviously, as we know, the defensive coordinator for the Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles. And it was a great time. It really was. People were having a great time. It was a little bit chilly, but people got out on the golf course for the noon shotgun start. You can see some of the incredible memorabilia that was donated as part of the ways to raise some of the funds, as part of the auctions. I wanted a burger so bad. You don't understand how badly it smelled so good, and I knew that they were gonna just get rid. I wanted a burger so bad. I didn't get a chance to get one, but it was all right. It was all right. I went to McDonald's on the drive back. But more importantly, let's talk about this. The United Way giving back once again. The Mike Munchak, 3 decades long, Ricky.
Yes, three decades long, and he does this again every year. He's always back in the community, always giving back. And again, it's really for a great cause, and you saw a lot of that sports memorabilia there. Mike Munchak has made a lot of friends during his time in the NFL. You saw Jerome Bettis jersey there for the Pittsburgh Steelers. I think Lawrence Taylor there as well. But these two guys really love and embrace their NEPA roots. They're always coming back here, whether it's to talk to local football teams or hold charity golf tournaments. It's really special to see some of these NEPA natives coming back and giving back to their community.
Yeah, I'm pretty much just echoing what Ricky said. They're always coming back.
Like I said, a man of few words.
My dad actually had a chance to go to this event last year, and it really does get people involved in the community. It's helping out the local students. It's giving back the way that, Munchak has always intended to, and it's what you love to see, giving back to the NEPA community. He talked about how, the support he got throughout his career has inspired him to give back in the way he has, and get to do it on a great day up in beautiful Moscow, and no better way to raise some money.
That throws me off a little bit when you say that. Not that
I understand
Moscow,
why.
Pennsylvania is not beautiful.
I understand
But
why.
just beautiful Moscow.
Because when people think of Moscow, they think of Moscow, Pennsylvania first and nothing else. Obviously.
You are Penn State, aren't you?
Clearly.
We got a chance to catch up with both Mike and Vic yesterday. Who do we got here first?
We got Vic Fangio.
All right, so we are going to get a chance to catch up with Vic Fangio. He's the defensive coordinator for the Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles. We talked about being a Dunmore native. We talked about coming back to his hometown and giving back. And yeah, of course, we talked about how the Eagles need to rebuild a secondary that lost a couple of key factors and key members as well. So let's hear from Vic Fangio right now. Check.
Appreciate you giving us a few moments. I know this is a day of celebration. I'm sure you're hungry as I am as soon as I walked up here as well. But 30 years to see this event grow to what it's become, what does all of that mean to you?
It's really a great accomplishment by the United Way and with Mike leading the charge there. I've made it the last 3 or 4 years, and every year it's just a great event, and I enjoy coming home for it.
You just mentioned coming home for it as a native of the area, to be able to come here and see the local community ties and how it's grown to that. What does that mean to you as not just someone who's made it as high up as you have, but someone who started from right here?
Yeah, this will always be home base for me. I love coming back here anytime I can, any chance or any reason I have to come back, I always do. And I'm just really happy that this charity that Mike has spearheaded and graciously lent his name and efforts to has really stood the test of time and does a great job.
Just to elaborate for people if they haven't gotten a chance to know exactly what this does, what are you guys raising money for? How do you guys help benefit the area here in the NEPA?
Well, it's free to the United Way. And then you know, the United Way gives a lot of money to a lot of different organizations. I don't know exactly where this money gets earmarked for, but United Way is very trustworthy.
I know the United Way has had a very strong partnership with the NFL over many, many years. What has your partnership been like with the United Way and some of the events and the experiences that you've been able to be a part of?
Yeah, they were involved with the NFL for a long, long time. I can remember from my start of my NFL career that we would give money, and I earmarked my money for Special Olympics. And that's the good thing about United Way. It's not just one charity, it's a multiple.
Well, and not to change subjects here, but one quick question for you from the gridiron. I know the NFL calendar never stops. What are the expectations this year? What can we look forward to when we get into late July and August?
Well, the expectations in Philly are always high, as we know. It'll be interesting. We have some turnover on the coaching staff. Offensively, we're going to be installing a new system. Defensively, we lost 3 starters that we need to replace, but I'm excited with the guys we have to work with.
Just to follow up, you mentioned the 3 starters. I know a couple of them key in the secondary. How do you retool that secondary?
Yeah, we lost starting corner, and we've brought in Tariq Woolen, who was with Seattle the last couple of years. Very excited about him. We lost Jalen Phillips. We placed him with Jonathan Grenard, and we lost starting safety Blankenship. And we're going to replace him from within with a couple guys that are competing for that job.
I thank you.
You heard it, a new system on offense, some changes on defense. Let's get right into it first. The new system on offense clearly having to do with maybe a lack of a now number 1 wide receiver, or at least who was the number 1 wide receiver?
From the fan base's perspective, it feels like the perfect time for Devontae Smith to step in as the wide receiver when you spent a top 10 pick on him back in 2021. He's been a 1,000-yard receiver even alongside A.J. Brown, but the changes in the offensive system are really coming from more under center and play action, which they haven't been able to do the last couple of years, and it seems like they're really trying to expand the offensive playbook beyond what Sirianni typically wants to do from the offensive perspective.
Yeah, I think it's certainly going to be interesting to see throughout the preseason, training camp, all that about some acclamations from there on out. But it's going to be something to see, that's for sure. I still expect a Saquon Barkley heavy offense, but who knows? Maybe they'll open up the playbook a little bit more and let Jalen Hurts sling the pigskin around a little more.
Thoughts?
Yeah, I agree. It seems like they needed an offensive system change, especially after last year. A.J. Brown's gone allegedly after, requesting a trade as early as week 4 of last year. So
Is that when he bought his Patriots rugs? Or did he have those before?
According to him, he's had them a while. So
He's had him since he's a Patriot since he was a kid, he said.
Yeah, he said he's, again, always been a Patriots fan. So
He's been a Patriot and a Rebel.
Yes.
He's playing both sides.
He is. Ole Miss, the Rebels, now New England.
2 very different eras of American history.
Yep.
You went there, not I. Well, he's the student. I almost tried to get Ricky in trouble last night, so I'm not going to get you in trouble as well. I probably got myself in trouble, but that's what I do. All right. We also got Mike Munchak for you. And Mike doing a great job, as this is his 30th year as part of the Golf Classic. We got a chance to talk to him as well about what it means to him, and then, a little bit of black and gold here at the end. Don't mind the mic check at the beginning. Yes. We didn't get a chance. This is your raw footage. We're bringing it director's cut behind the scenes. So Mike Munchak yesterday as part of the United Way 30th annual golf tournament.
I know. I came out prepared, and as I realized, I should have gotten a quarter zip or something. I may end up spending some money in the pro shop.
That's what they're hoping.
Well, I appreciate you giving us a couple of moments. I know this is a very busy day for you. The 30th annual, to see it have grown to this long for 3 decades, what does that mean to yourself personally?
That's pretty amazing to remember where we all started that long ago, and we were just putting together a tournament to find a way to help this community in some way for those that are in need, and get involved in United Way in this golf tournament became very special every year to a lot of people.
I know the partnership with the United Way and the NFL has been a long-standing one. What does that partnership mean to you yourself personally?
Well, I think when you could see it firsthand and be involved in your local community, Northeast Pennsylvania, where I grew up, and had gotten such great support in my career from a lot of people in this area, and then having the opportunity to come back and encourage people to get involved in this golf tournament to help our communities by raising money for United Way, and that help people that are in need. So it make people's lives better. So it's fun to know that they were able to do all that just by playing a little golf today.
Well, you mentioned your community. What does it mean to you today, 30 years later, to see your community coming out like it is in full force to help you with this effort?
Well, that's what's fun about it. I think you realize that so many people have the same thoughts and minds, that they want to do good for people. They know how blessed we are with what a lot of us have been given, and we want to give back, try to pay it forward. And that's what we're doing here today. And it's fun that you can do it in a nice atmosphere, fun atmosphere. But the bottom line is, it's all about raising money for people that need it.
And just, finally, everything that you're doing here today, how does the United Way partner, and how do you guys help? What are some of the goals and the objectives of today's tournament?
Well, for me, it's just to raise as much money as possible, whether it be through the auction, whether it be through the golf, the foursomes, to have a good time, to have people realize they want to come back and do this again. To see us give out the scholarship award for $6,300 to a young person that's about to head off to college, that's already learning about how to get involved, not only do well in school, but to do well in the community, and how important that is. So I think to realize that we're part of that as well. Every year we have a nice high school graduate that does that, so that's kind of cool. I'm looking forward to that as well.
Can I just follow up on that? What are some of the criteria, or how do you guys make that selection?
I'm not sure. There's a panel. I'm not involved in the actual selection. But there's a panel that people that look over resumes, and it's kind of I like it because it encourages people to realize these kind of awards are out there, that there is more to just doing well in school. I mean, there's a lot, you want them to do well in school, but also, give back to the community. And it's a good habit to get into early in age, and I think that's what it encourages. So I know they look over these. It's very, very done very professionally, and it means a lot to a lot of people, and hopefully the person who won the award will be here tonight.
Is there anything you think I may have missed, or anything you want to add to help tell the story tonight?
No, I'm happy to be. I'm glad. I appreciate the coverage, because the more people know about what's going on in their community, the better. They know that their neighbors and friends are out here, and Vic Fangio, and it's nice that our platform allows us to encourage others to do exactly what we're doing, and how important these kind of things are to do, and really how much we appreciate all the support we get for playing football, or coaching it, or playing it, and this stuff is really what matters. Is the community, people in need, helping others out that need it, providing programs United Way does for people that really need it. So we're just glad we could do those kind of things.
Well, to transition to something that doesn't matter quite as much and a little bit off subject, it's a whole new regime for the black and gold. Aaron Rodgers back. What do you think? What are your expectations? What would you like to see happen this year?
Well, I think that Pittsburgh, the Steelers are always the Steelers, no matter who's leading them. They find a way to win. They find a way to be fun to watch. I'm sure it's going to be a lot of the same. I'm going to miss Coach Tomlin quite a bit. I thought he did a great job there, but it'll be fun to see forward how they do go forward. But having Rooney's there, it'll be Pittsburgh football.
Thank you so much, and I hope
Pittsburgh football. All right, and we're looking forward to a season of Pittsburgh football and Eagles football, as well as the NFL getting ready. Mini camps going on, and who knows? It's crazy. It's training camp. We'll be here before we start. As I said, tonight, the unofficial start of high school football in Schuylkill County, and that's where I'm about to head. So you guys don't go anywhere. We're going to be right back here on WBRE, WYOU 2822 Sports Night in just a few moments. Ricky Turner going to be taking over the keys to the ship.
Yes.
Nate John's going to be sitting shotgun when we get back here on the CTV app.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to 2822 Sports Night. I'm here myself. Zach had to run off. Just me and Nate now. Me and Nate Johns, our 2822 Sports intern. And well, it's certainly, it's been an exciting week of sports thus far. We had the Pocono race just this past weekend, had the UFC 250 fights, had the World Cup currently going on as well. But as Zach likes to say, the NFL world never really stops. And continuing to, I guess, more of so on a heavier note this time, but Brendan Sorsby, a former Cincinnati QB, probably would have been drafted this past year if he went in the NFL draft, but waited and opted to go into a more loaded QB 2027 draft class. But it appears now he will probably not even get the chance to play in college in 2027, as he plans to enter the NFL supplemental draft that is coming up soon. Some news broke on that yesterday, that he does plan to enter his name there with all the controversy with the betting scandals allegedly at Texas Tech, Cincinnati, even I think Indiana as well. But Sorsby looks to continue possibly his NFL future in a pretty unorthodox way.
Yeah, I don't think we've seen a quarterback do anything like this since Terrell Pryor back in 2011 when he got picked by the Raiders. He said it was due to through statements through his lawyers and the Texas Tech Board of Trustees and all that, have said due to the pending litigation, which tells me they think this was probably going to get overturned on appeal by either the NCAA. I know several attorney generals in Oklahoma and Kansas had spoken in defense of the Big 12 being able to sanction Texas Tech if this were able to happen. So Sorsby's going to go ahead, and now it just goes to the question of where does he go in the supplemental draft, because you do have to give up the subsequent pick in next year's draft. So if you slot him in as a third-round talent and would give up a third-round pick in the supplemental draft, you lose your third-round pick. So going to be interesting to see which teams look to add him, especially this late in the offseason.
Yeah, and I'm sure there's a number of teams out there, but what interests me about this is obviously the compensation, because you look at him, he's a pretty good QB. I mean, I think at 28 touchdowns, 5 interceptions for a Bearcats team that, again, really isn't known for, I guess they have produced QB talent. They had Desmond Ridder, but again, ultimately did not work out. And I think he's certainly, I think, a little bit more talented in terms of, what he can do than Desmond Ridder. But who's going to give up something, and what they're going to give up, I think, is certainly now the burning questions. I think there are a number of teams right now that are in QB purgatory that are looking at it. They're probably thinking, this guy, if he played next year, probably a first-round pick if he does continue the trajectory he has been headed. But certainly going to be interesting to see what teams are going to be the most aggressive in trying to pursue him.
Yeah, without a doubt. And I mean, you look at teams that didn't necessarily land on franchise caliber quarterbacks in the draft. Miami, I know they just gave all that money to Malik Willis. The Jets are a team that could be interested because I don't think Cade Klubnik's the long-term answer.
I know Zach Grady would be really, really happy that you said that, because he seemed really enthused when I mentioned the Jets yesterday, possibly giving up a pick to go and get Brendan Sorsby.
Yeah. So you have the Jets, you have Arizona, you have a team like Miami, and you could even see a team like the Cleveland Browns, where Deshaun Watson hasn't been anywhere near what they expected him to be when they signed him, dealt with a couple of Achilles injuries along the way. Shedeur Sanders, despite making a Pro Bowl, isn't really a long-term viable option either. And this is a guy who was going in the first round of some mock drafts back in January before the window to declare for the draft expired. He was going to get a lot of money from Texas Tech, but going to be interesting to see where he goes now, because the compensation for his contract is going to be whatever the value is from the previous draft. Seems like it's going to be somebody picking him in either the third to fifth round of the supplemental draft, and nobody's been taken in one since 2021, and it's going to be the first time they've actually had to get teams together and do this. The way they do the odds, I believe it's a lottery system where they're organizing teams that I think it's
off of tiers, yes.
It's teams that won 6 or less games,
yes,
and then going up from there. But have to imagine there's going to be a demand for Sorsby. I could see it going as early as the third, but a really weird situation, especially after the college football world was losing its mind that he was ruled eligible in the first place.
Yes, and that's what's going to be real interesting about this, is because, again, there's 3 tiers, as you mentioned, teams with 6 or fewer wins than the rest of the NFL non-playoff teams, and then the 14 playoff teams. The last player taken via the supplemental draft was actually Jalen Thompson in 2019 by the Arizona Cardinals. A QB has not been selected since, as you mentioned, Terrell Pryor in 2011. But again, there's a number of teams out there. As you mentioned, the Jets, I think, and Cardinals, I think, are near the top of that list. The Browns, depending on what happens with that Deshaun Watson, Shadir Sanders, QB battle, Dylan Gabriel also in there. Pittsburgh's interesting to me because they drafted Drew Aller and they're high on Will Howard. But Pittsburgh, anytime you're looking to don't have a franchise QB in-house, the best way to do it is to take as many dart throws as possible. But the question is Pittsburgh willing to part with what probably would have to be a third-round pick, in my opinion, depending on, because I think a lot of teams are probably going to be offering a fourth, but a third-round pick is really rich for a guy that has a lot of volatility. You don't know really what's going to happen, but Pittsburgh, with Aaron Rodgers in-house, with Drew Aller, with Will Howard, and with Mason Rudolph, that QB room does get a little crowded, but I don't think you can completely rule it out. But with how they've been talking about Drew Aller and Will Howard, certainly can't see him doing it. But again, anything could happen if they're really crazy about a player like Sorsby. And I'd assume they were probably looking at him throughout this process, even prior, because they do need a QB in a QB-heavy draft class, which was supposed to be next year as well.
Yeah, he was a name that was linked to the Steelers in the 2026 mock draft cycle, from what I saw. The problem is, I don't think you're going to do it now after you just spent a third-round pick on a quarterback who has a relatively high ceiling, but you don't know where the floor is in Drew Aller. Sorsby does come with baggage, and he's going to be behind the 8 ball. None of these guys you're expecting to start right away. And I also don't take that much stock when teams say they're high on players. What else are they going to say? The 49ers were high on Trey Lance for 3 years, and that never came around either because of injuries or ineffectiveness or a little bit of both. But I think, like you said, QB room's a little bit too crowded. I don't know necessarily who the third quarterback on that roster is going to be, but it's definitely a team to keep an eye on because, like you said, as long as you don't have a franchise quarterback, take as many dart throws as possible. Long-term future is definitely not in Rodgers or Rudolph. I think Sorsby has the potential to be that guy, and we'll see what Pittsburgh values in terms of draft capital and what they would have to give up for Sorsby, or if they just want to wait and maybe get their guy in 2027 with, like you said, it's going to be a loaded quarterback class.
Yeah, and I think that's probably, again, what most people are thinking is the draft in 2027. But again, you truly, again, do never know. But I think with Sorsby, obviously the baggage is the thing you're really looking at. Like, obviously they've come. I think he spent over like, what was it, $90,000? It
was around $90,000.
Around $90,000 allegedly in those bets. And does your coach or whoever's on the team really want to keep being asked about Brendan Sorsby and the allegations that surround him? Because this isn't just going to go away. This is free food for the media that's going to be asking them questions about the thought process if and who he is drafted by. So again, we'll have to see what happens there. But I think if I had to put two teams right off the bat at the top of that list, it's probably the Jets and it's probably the Arizona Cardinals, the two teams that I think would probably be the most interested in drafting a player like Brendan Sorsby. But we're going to take a break and we're going to come back. We're probably going to talk a little bit about the Rail Riders, the World Cup, the Rail Riders in their last series before the All-Star break. And so we'll see where they are at in the standings, talk a little bit about their first half results, and peek a little bit going forward into the second half and what they're going to have to do better. So stay tuned with us here at 2822 Sports Night. I'm your host, Ricky Turner. Next to me, Nate John. So we'll be right back. So everyone, stay tuned. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to 2822 Sports Night. We're going to talk some baseball, go a little bit around the diamond here. And we're going to start with the local team, the Scranton Wilkes-Barre Rail Riders. It's been a meh start for them. They got off to a pretty good start, but since then, really the end of May, middle of June, they really haven't been able to put together any consistent results. And a big part of that is they haven't been able to get a win streak going. They just won 2 straight for the first time since really the beginning of the month. And they're sitting right now in the middle of the standings, 34 and 34, just below the Worcester Red Sox, Jacksonville as well above them. And then you look at a team like Charlotte sitting at 38 and 31. And then the Rochester, the Washington Nationals International Club team as well. But thoughts, Nate, on the Penguins, I guess, topsy-turvy first half results?
Yeah, for the Rail Riders, it's been a little bit of a roller coaster. You talked about it with a hot start. Just haven't been able to find any type of consistency anywhere in the lineup. It's really been offensively. Spencer Jones, before he got called up, was doing pretty well. Yanquiel Fernandez won a couple of awards for Batter of the Week. The strength's been in the pitching, particularly with Brendan Beck, 2-time Player of the Week, had a no-hitter earlier this year against Syracuse. You're seeing, we had some of the highlights on it earlier on in the season, but it's just been a bit too quiet offensively, and the rotation, again, outside of what they've seen from Brendan Beck has been it, and just not a whole lot. And they just need to find their footing and get something consistent going offensively and find some stability in the rotation and bullpen.
Yeah, it's been sort of, again, a pretty maybe not disappointing, but certainly, again, expectations not being met here thus far. And unfortunately, again, we'll see how things play out. But as you mentioned, it's been really Yanquiel Fernandez and Spencer Jones or Ernesto Martinez, all in double digits with home runs. George Lombard, I guess, has sort of been a little bit of a disappointment here with his average being around 226. But again, you're hoping that he sort of catches on pretty quickly. They've given him some pretty extensive looks as well. But it's certainly, again, hasn't been the start that you want. As you mentioned, the pitching has really been probably the strength of this team, with Brendan Beck being pitcher of the month. The rest of that rotation has been a little suspect. I know they're pretty high on Giovanni Cruz as well. He's come in as a bullpen reliever, but outside of their starters, Elmer Rodriguez has started 10 games. He's 3-3 in those 10 games. You look at a player like Adam Kloffenstein. He's 2-5 with a +5 ERA. Dom Hamill started 13 games. He's 2-7 with a +7 ERA. Like, it has certainly been, again, Brendan Beck has certainly been their stud. Their bullpen has also been pretty good, but outside of Beck and their starting rotation, it's been a struggle. Elmer Rodriguez has given them some good innings as well, but things have certainly not really panned out probably as many people have thought here with the Scranton Wilkes-Barre Rail Riders.
Yeah, and when you're getting that, when you're getting that type of young sort of youth in the lineup, because a lot of AAA teams, you see it's a lot of guys that are just bouncing around on minor league contracts. You do have some exciting young prospects. Jason Dominguez is down there on rehab. Carlos LaGrange really hasn't lived up to what they've wanted him to as a starting pitching prospect. There's talks that he may be a guy that has to come out of the bullpen, which isn't what you want to see. Brendan Beck is a guy who was ranked in the 20s in the Yankee system, so I would qualify him as more of a pleasant surprise than somebody they were expecting this from. But like you said, just haven't gotten what they've needed from those key contributors. A lot of those young guys are undergoing those growing pains. Lombard, particularly since coming up from AA, just the average hasn't been there. It's an adjustment to AAA pitching, and as those guys get more and more comfortable, get more and more reps, you would think they'll be able to pick it up as the second half rolls on.
Yeah, and it's going to be a big second half. Shelley Duncan and crew are really going to have a lot to really make up here, as they're sitting at 500 in the middle of the standings. You obviously want to get that higher and sort of get going as this last series before the All-Star break takes place. But again, speaking of breaks, we're going to take one, and we're going to be coming back for our last block here on 28-22 Sports Night. So stay tuned And we're going to talk some World Cup action going forward here and talk about some of the games going on Tuesday and what's going to happen going forward with the United States as they play on Friday against Australia. So stay tuned. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to 28-22 Sports Night. And as you mentioned, it's going to be a quick World Cup recap with obviously the United States winning their first game against Paraguay 4-1, and what was a really offensively dominant effort. But we're going to talk about some of the games today. I know we had France-Senegal play today. They'll definitely be over by the time this show has started. But yeah, France-Senegal. Iraq-Norway playing today at 6 in Group 1. And Argentina-Algeria finishing up right after our show at 9 p.m. So, again, it should be a pretty exciting game. And I guess, Nate, what's your early takeaways have been from this World Cup?
Well, my early takeaways have been that we've seen some of the top contenders and teams we were expecting to be good struggling. I mean, we see Spain and Cabo Verde up there, and it was a 0-0 draw yesterday. It was one of the top, upsets from FIFA rankings just based on who was ranked where and that differential, and you saw it yesterday. But a lot of the heavy hitters are finally getting going today. You have France, you have Argentina, even a Norway team that can make some noise. We got England tomorrow, Portugal. So finally getting to see those heavy hitters ramp up, because the ones that we've seen have struggled so far outside of Germany, who dominated Curacao 7-1.
Yeah, some of the heavy hitters have struggled thus far, but again, we'll see ultimately what transpires throughout the results today, and we'll probably have more World Cup action for you throughout the week, Wednesday and Thursday. Also, Zach will probably, unfortunately, I'll be off. Zach will have probably some of those the Schuylkill challenge highlights with the United Way. We'll probably talk a little bit about that experience, but and then we'll probably have some baseball. We'll probably have maybe some more NASCAR. We'll probably have a lot of stuff throughout the week, but that is going to do it for this episode of 28-22 Sports Night. Stay tuned tomorrow. It'll be Zach Grady back here going solo, unless you're with him tomorrow. Are you here tomorrow?
I'm off tomorrow.
You're off tomorrow. Whoop, it looks like it's just going to be the Zach Grady show tomorrow, so hope everyone had a great night, and stay tuned with us throughout the week, 8 to 9 on the 28-22 Now app, CTV app, to watch 28-22 Sports Night. So everyone, stay tuned and have a great night.